Alright, let's do this. Let's stream some video games, shall we? I'm kind of new to Twitch. I think I signed up for it a while ago to watch other people do this particular thing, but I figured I would try my hand in my own version of this game. What can be said about Final Fantasy? Final Fantasy is an iconic RPG from Japan. It basically saved Square. It made sure that Square could eventually put out a Final Fantasy VII for most of you to enjoy. Believe it or not, the first Final Fantasy is the one that I played first. Remember, I was about 10 years old, and some friends were like, hey, check out this game. It's unlike any other game I've ever played before. They were like really big into tabletop D&D. And so we played it. I didn't get it because I was so used to side-scrollers like Mega Man and Mario that this weird game that was a turn-based RPG didn't make any sense to me. But I eventually figured it out. And, good lord. Almost 30 years later, I'm still playing the game. Let's do it. So, basically that last screen was all you need to know about the game. Shit is happening, and we've got to fix the shit that is happening. So, we shall do this. We start the game off. As you can see, the game was released in Japan by Square in 1987, but didn't actually come to America until 1990. So that's why I was about 9 or 10 when I first played the game. I usually take the response rate down to 6 just because I prefer the text to move quickly, but not too quickly, if that makes sense. So, we'll start a new game. There's 6 classes. Here's your first 4. You got Fighter, Thief, Black Belt, Red Mage, White Mage, Black Mage. Fighter, of course, by far the best class in the entire game. I'm going to use an optimal group that I think is the best group for the game. So I'm going to start off with a Fighter. He's my tank. Basically can take on anything and everything. No fucking around with the Fighter. Let's see here, so we'll just name him Puff. I'm going to have a second Fighter because the fighters are just that good. They get to equip all the best weapons, all the best armor, and overall just badass. Highest strength, all that fun stuff. So we will name this particular fighter Owen after my son, who is taking a nap as we speak. We're going to do a black belt, or actually, yes, we will have a black belt, but I'm going to actually put the red mage in the 3rd slot, and I'll show you why here in a sec. So we'll name the red mage after my buddy Jay. And then we will do a black belt. And before I pick my black belt and move on, people are probably thinking to themselves, if anyone's even watching this, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you having a white mage or a black mage? Because, let's be perfectly honest about the white mage and black mage. While they can use magic, they're really kind of worthless aside from their charges of magic spells that they have throughout the game. They have low strength, they can't really equip much, and the only stat that would really matter to them is intelligence, which is bugged in this game. Anybody can use magic later on in the game. About halfway point, you start getting items that can use magic, which anyone can use those magic spells, and it doesn't matter what their intelligence is, the damage output will be the same. So it's not really important to have a white or a black mage in your party. And you'll see why once I get through the game. I'm picking a black belt mainly mainly for variety. I don't need to have 3 fighters and 1 red mage. That'd be crazy, even though probably be okay. Alright, so who am I going to name this person after? I'll name this after my other buddy, Nate, but he goes by Sarge. Alright, so this is my party. You got 2 fighters, red mage, black belt. And here we go. Start off, you're right here, boom. Let's look at the screen real quick. You got $400, you got 4 orbs, you don't know what's going on. You got 0 items. Zero magic, zero weapons, zero armor. You are completely nude in every sense of the way. Look at that strength by that fighter. His agility, stat is bugged, does not matter. Intelligence, same, stat is bugged, doesn't matter. Vitality, it does matter actually, believe it or not. Vitality is the amount of hit points you will get per level up, which is good because that stat actually works. And then your luck, again, bugged, does not work. So that's why the thief is by far the most useless character in the game, because, well, it has high agility and high luck, and those stats are bugged, and they're just pretty terrible. You got your experience points, which is 0 because we haven't fought a battle yet, and then for a level up, you need 40 experience to obviously move on to your next level, which would be level 2, obviously. You got your damage, your hit percent, your absorb, and your evade. Your absorb is basically how much damage. It's like basically a plus or minus, or a straight up subtraction. So if something hits you for 6 hit points or whatever, and your absorb is 6, then they can only do 1 damage to you, and that's it. It will never come out as 0 like in the later Final Fantasies. It always comes out as 1. Your evade, obviously, how much you will evade attacks. And then your damage output, and then your hit percentage, which I don't really understand how those numbers work. We're not going to worry about it. So there you go. That's all you need to know about these guys. Let's do it. So first things first, we are going to head to Corneria. First town, not to be confused with Corneria and Sky Fox. So first thing you do, buy some rapiers, because they're the best weapon your fighter and your red mage can use. Your red mage essentially is like a jack of all trades, master of none. He can use pretty good armor at the beginning of the game, pretty good weapons throughout the game, and most of the good magic spells that you would need to use throughout the game. The main thing that makes him great, at least on the early onset, is the chainmail, which has 15 absorb, which is basically turns him into a tank. He's pretty... Nothing's going to do much damage to him in the early parts of this game. Sarge, your black belt, can pretty much use like your... Not really much, as far as... Mostly just the wooden armor, and then from there he can use like the bracelets and stuff. The black belt is a very... I don't know what I'm doing. The black belt is kind of a very unique class in that at some point you will unequip your black belt of everything, because his absorb and evade will be the same as his... What just happened? Oh. Sorry. Something happened on my computer there. Yeah, at some point his absorb will be the same as his level, and if his level is high enough, it'll be better than the armor that he has on. And then at one point his attack will be way higher than any weapon he can equip, so you'll unequip him and he'll start beating people with his fists. So first thing you gotta do before we move on, let's equip everybody of their stuffs. I already did that with the chainmails. Weapons, good. And then you can see their stats are changed. So absorb is now 15 for your fighter. Damage is 19 and hit percent is 15. So there you go. We are moving on. So first things first, get out of the city. Head up north to the Temple of Fiends. But first, we'll fight a couple of battles on the way. These are imps. They're pretty much the weakest enemies in the game. They have 8 hit points, and as you can see, we are decimating them. They hit between... I can't remember what their offense is. I want to say it's between 4 and 8 hit points that they can do. So basically, they're not going to do any damage to Puff, Owen, or Jay. And for Sarge, I think that they'll... I want to say the wooden armor has 5 absorb, so if they hit them, it would be like... nothing. It'd be between 1 and 3. Pretty sure that's how math works. Alright, second battle. Main thing about this game on the screen, as you can see, you've got your... I kind of moved on without really talking about it. but you saw that ineffective just then. Basically what happens is if you select an enemy to attack and that enemy dies before the battle's over, and you have somebody else attacking that enemy, instead of moving on to a different enemy, it will be ineffective. It is retarded. Does not make sense. I don't understand why you would start slashing on a dead enemy. But anyways, so before we even move on, let's talk about the battle. So we've got fight, magic, drink, item. Drink, you can use an item in battle, which I don't have any items. And then item, basically it just pulls up your inventory, like what you have currently equipped, which that will come into play much later in the game. Right now, all we can really do is fight. So you just hit the fight button, you move on. Run obviously means to run away. And there you go. As far as order is concerned, believe it or not, your order does matter. It's kind of similar to the more recent Final Fantasies where you have rows, but your order is basically the guy at the top is going to get most of the damage or most of the attacks towards him. So Puff at the top is going to get one and two attacks are going to go towards him. Owen, your guy in the middle, or in the second slot, is going to get 1 and 4 attacks towards him, and then the last two guys will get 1 and 8 attacks towards them, which is why you always want to have your fighter in the front slots, because they can obviously take on more damage than a guy like your black belt, or later on your red mage, because your red mage is going to basically be completely like, he's going to be about as useful as any of the other characters in the game. Pretty much, your fighters equipped everything. Everybody else kind of fucking sucks. The only class that can equip as many armor things as your fighters, of course, are the ninjas, which is the thief's upgrade, but still not even worth it. Their strength is not worth it, all that stuff. So we defeated Garland, level up. I got a little hairy for Puff there. Apparently he was like not doing too hot, but he survived the battle, and that's all that really matters. So you move on to level 2, you go up, talk to Sarah. Thank you, Light Warriors. And this is the only time in the game where you will warp from somewhere to somewhere else. Otherwise, you have to walk your sorry ass outside of a dungeon from the end. Alright, so the king basically opens up the rest of the continent for you, or the other continent. You move on to Pravoka. So you can move on to Pravoka. There's a bridge that they build up there, and then Sarah gives you a loot, which you do not use until much later in the game. You do not get to use the loot until much further down the road. So, next thing we're going to do, before we head on to Pravoka, is we're going to buy one magic spell, because that's all we can really afford. We're going to buy Jay, the Cure spell. Let's talk about magic for a second, since I just bought some magic. So, Jay is here. As you can see, there's 2 numbers, and there's 8 levels of magic. Your red mage, unfortunately, cannot use all 8 levels of magic because, again, like I said, jack of all trade, master of none. But he can use most of the early on white and black magic spells. So Cure does about, I don't know, between like 15 and 30 hit points worth of, not damage, but curative stat or whatever. Gives you that much back. And then there's your charges there. So as you can see, level 1, I've got 2. That's how many charges I have right now, and 3 is the maximum amount of charges, which I'll get those 3 charges once I go to the inn and save the game. So I can only use Cure 3 times between inn stops, and that's it. Which is why the magic users are kind of like, it's kind of tough on the magic users, because they really only have those charges, and if you end up in a dungeon and you run out of charges, well, they are totally useless at that point. Alright, so next thing, we're going to go on ahead and buy a few tents. The reason why I'm buying tents and not heals is because I'm not really going into any dungeons coming up, and tents are essentially like buying 4 heal spells, because they basically save the game and they cure each of your party members of, you know, again, between like 20 and 30 hit points per use. So I buy 3 of those, and then I use the N, and I have 1 gold point left, which is perfect. N heals you up, gives you all your magic charges back, and saves the game for you. All right, so here we go, iconic scene of the game. This lets you know that it is only the beginning. You have only scratched the surface of this game. I am coughing to death. And lets you know the game was created by Square. Now you move on. First thing I'm going to do before I even head to, or before I go to Pravoka, is I'm going to go to Matoya's cave. The reason why I'm going to go there is she has a couple of treasure chests in her cave that have a couple of heals and a pure. Pures are kind of important because they heal poison status. Poison status does not go away if you go into an N. You have to use a pure to cure your poison status. So very much, again, old school, you know, tabletop D&D style stuff. All right, we're going to finally actually run into different creatures besides imps. I'm certain of it. We'll probably run into some wolves, maybe an iguana. If we're unlucky, we'll run into some mad ponies. Wolves are pretty easy. They have 20 hit points. But they do hit pretty hard. Well, not to those guys, but if they had attacked Sarge, shit would have hit the fan, maybe. Alright. So yes. Heading on, heading on, heading on. Okay. Now, what I'm probably going to do is run away from these asps. And there's a reason why, is because they can poison you. And like I said before, if they poison a character... Oh, come on. Alright, well, I guess I'll just fucking attack them then. If a character gets poisoned, then they will be poisoned until I can buy some pures. And pures cost $75, and these guys only give you 50 gold points per asp, so it's kind of not worth fighting them. Because if, you know, they end up poisoning a bunch of characters, it's going to cost you 150, and you only made 100. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But it looks like I've really lucked out and not gotten poisoned by these fucking snakes. Which is good, because I think they give decent enough experience. Alright, awesome. I'm glad I wasn't able to run away. 61, that's pretty damn good. Alright, so Matoya's cave, very purple of her to rock this. She is a deciding factor later on in the game. If you want to talk to her, she just basically says, "Where's my crystal?" Crystal is part of the fetch quest that we're going to have to do after Pravoka. Alright, so you got a heal, and then a pure. Like I said, pure. Cures poison status, heals, give you between like 20, gives you 30 hit points on the main screen. Like if I used a heal right now, it would give you exactly 30 hit points. But if you use it as a drink command in battle, then it gives you anywhere between like 15 and 30. So it's best to actually use the heals on the overworld as an item. Alright, so now we're going to head to Pravoka. But first, obviously, random encounters. So, like I've said before, since if you kill an enemy and you have somebody targeting that enemy afterwards, it'll say, you know, the fuck does it say? I'm like losing my fucking mind over here. Basically, the attack doesn't work. You have to optimize your attacks when you're attacking enemies in this game. I can't just like lean on A and then all the imps will drop dead. I have to make sure each person attacks each imp. Now this could get ugly. I should not be fighting 2 ogres. These guys like have 101 hit points and they hit pretty damn hard. So let's see how no, I'm gonna run away. I'm at level 2. There's no reason for me to be fighting 2 ogres. 5. Okay, let's just get out of there. I don't know, I might have been able to take him. If it was 1 ogre, I would definitely fight 1 ogre. so this should be interesting. These wolves shouldn't do too much damage to me. There's 6 of them, I know, but like I said, they only have 20 hit points. The only person I really worry about them attacking is Sarge, because he has not that much in the way of absorb. Luckily there, Jay and Sarge together were able to kill that one wolf, while Puff and Owen were able to kill the other 2 wolves with their one lonely attack. I'm gonna move the camera just a tiny bit. Move myself just a tiny bit. There we go. Alright. The reason why I like this group is because you don't really have to run away from many monsters. In the early onset of the game, especially with your, especially if you have a, 2 mages in your party, like I said, they're pretty worthless, so you're running away from, like, pretty tough enemies early on, and then you have to start grinding later on in the game to make sure you have enough level to go into the Marsh Cave, because the Marsh Cave is pretty tough. The Marsh Cave is like the first real dungeon in the game, and it is a tough area. Alright, so now we're here. I didn't even have to use a tent on the way to Pravoka, which is great. I'm in pretty good standings as far as my hit points are concerned, so I'm just going to go on ahead and go straight after the pirates. So you got to talk to this guy here. He's the pirate. Fuck. And then you fuck his shit up. You're like, holy shit, there's 9 of them? Well, yes, but they have 6 hit points each. And while they hit pretty hard, they're gonna fucking just fall like crazy. And when I say they hit hard to somebody like Sarge. They're not gonna do much damage to Owen or Jay. So yeah. Man, I was able to talk a lot about a lot of different things during that first part of the game. I want to say, as far as evade, or not evade, but as far as your hit percentage is concerned, if you get 1 hit, you have a 2 in 3 chance of hitting an enemy. Basically a 1 in 3 chance of missing if you attack an enemy. Once your hit percentage goes up, then you have, you'll start getting a 2nd or a 3rd or a 4th hit, and then again you'll still have that 1 in 3 chance of missing, but you'll obviously have a better chance of hitting things. And sorry, I was checking out my baby's webcam to make sure he's doing alright. Alright, we got another level up. That's great. And we got pretty big level ups too, except for Jay. He didn't really go up much. See how Sarge did. Not really much. So my fighters got more HP. Alright, so when you defeat the pirates, he gives you a ship. So you don't mess with them anymore. Alright, next thing. First thing. Next thing. Whatever. Don't really need anything here. Got my tents, that should do me fine. I'll pick up some armor. Now you're probably gonna think to yourself, why, I'm only picking up armor for Sarge, because like I said, that chainmail is doing pretty good and I need to conserve as much money as possible. So Sarge is the only one where I'm like, he's going from 5 to 6, because the glove only has 1 absorb. Going from 5 to 6, kind of important. But going from 15 to 16, neither here nor there. And that's pretty much it. I could buy a magic spell here, but I'm not going to bother with it right now. I'll pick up Mute later and pick up Ice later, but as of now, there's no sense in wasting the money on it. So, first things first, now we've got a ship. Yeah, motherfuckers. So the only place you can stop on the ships is ports. Okay, so these fucking Sahagins is what they're called. Red Sahagins are much more powerful than their counterparts, just regular Sahagins. And they have pretty high evade too. I feel like you can barely touch them. Should be fine on this battle. Sharks, I want to say, have Ooh, shit. Damn, he hit. I should have saved the game. That's the one thing I didn't do. Well, I'll hit up Corneria and save the game there. Alright, cool. So I was able to kill the shark. As long as the red Sahagin targets either Owen or Puff, I should be okay. If Sarge gets hit again, it'll be pretty... He will die, more than likely. And as you can see, I didn't pick up any weapons. Ah, I knew that shit was gonna happen. Motherfucker. Like, what are the odds? I mean, I know exactly what the odds are. The odds are 1 in 8 that he would attack Sarge, but still, it's like, anyway. Alright, so Sarge misses out on experience. No big deal. We'll just head over to Corneria and bring him back to life, so you can see what that's all about. So when your character dies, you have no way to bring your character back to life unless you go to a town and you go to one of these buildings with a heart on it. Hit up the building with the heart on it. You bring him back to life for however much money it costs, and he comes back with a measly 1 hit point, as you can see right there. Alright, so next thing, I'm going to hit up the item shop again and pick up a couple more tents. Alright, cool. So, now I should have 5 tents. Yep. 2 heals, 1 pure. I'm looking pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pick up my 2 other spells that I want from level 1 for my red mage, which is fire and lightning. Alright, so now, and the other thing in this game too is you can only hold 3 magic spells per level. So as you can see, I've got it all filled up. I got my cure, my fire, and my lightning. Specifically, the reason why I got lightning is so I can get guaranteed attacks on monsters in the water areas while I'm on the ship, because, well, they are water enemies, and lightning, they are actually weak to lightning. So we're going to hit up this place, we're going to save the game, give everybody all their hit points back, which is something I should have done in Provoca to stop Jay from dying, or Sarge from dying, that is, but... what are you gonna do? So next thing we're gonna do, again, just to save a little bit of money, we're gonna, and to kind of, you know, just to maybe gain some levels too, or at least get some experience, we're gonna head back to the Temple of Fiends, and there's a couple of treasure chests I want to get. One has a cap in it, which is, again, another armor that Sarge can use. Only gives him 1 absorb, but whatever. He's got 6 absorb. He needs 7 absorb. So, we'll move on. In here, tougher enemies. These bones are undead. If I had a white mage, I could actually use the spell Harm, which is one of the other good things about your white mage is they have Harm, which is essentially a holy spell, and they only target the undead. So it's one of the few offensive things that white mages have in their favor. You can use that a lot to your advantage for grinding levels. At this point right now, once you get Harm 2, you can go up to what's called the Northwest Peninsula of Provoca or something like that, and you can fight these like super ridiculously tough monsters that are undead, and you can gain levels that way using your white mage. But well, obviously we don't have a white mage, and we can't use the Harm spell because only white mages can use it. Alright. Oh, lucky there. I was scared Sarge wasn't going to actually get that attack off. Alright. Oh, come on. How are you going to miss? There we go. Alright. Jay, you can try to kill that wolf that you didn't kill earlier. You're not going to. Good job. Good job. See, as you can see, like, if Sarge gets attacked, which he's getting attacked a lot, because obviously he's already down 30 hit points. Man, what the fuck is going on here? Like, everyone missed? Again, what are the odds? I know what the odds are, but what are they? Oh, whatever, 1 in 3 times the 4th power or whatever. Not good. That Puff keeps missing the same wolf over and over again. Give me some damage, Jay. There you go. Fucking proud of you. Alright, cool. Alright. Alright, did I get the cap and I just never equipped it? Yeah, I sure did. Alright, so get your cap, move it over here. Don't forget to equip it, like I did earlier. And then this room has a cabin in it. Oh, a heal and a cabin. Which cabins are 250 in the game. They basically heal up just a tiny bit more than a tent would. And of course heals are worth 60, so I just saved myself 310 gold by coming here. And then of course the cap I think is 60 as well, so overall, totally worth it. And get to fight some monsters. Who knows, I may level up again at some point. Next thing we'll do once we get out of this area is we will head over to the dwarf cave because they have a couple of treasure chests that you can get to now that have money in them, which obviously money is good, so you can buy the things that you need to buy. Alright. Okay, these creeps are pretty, they don't have much in the way of hit points. I want to say they have 60 hit points, but they hit pretty hard. As you'll see, if he gets an attack off on... Well, it doesn't matter, because he got his ass handed to him. They don't really give you enough experience and gold for how tough they can be with a different party. Obviously not this party. My party now is totally fine. More imps. Yeah, and then once you set your battle up, you know, you can just, hands are free, do whatever, watch what's going on, see how things go down. So, on my way to, back to Corneria, mainly just to save the game, because why not? It's always good to save your game, especially here since it only costs 30. At this inn. And like I said, I cannot stress enough how important it is to conserve your money in this game. You fucking bitch. Now I could either wait until she gets the fuck out of the way, which she never will, or I have to go to a different exit. Alright, next thing, we're gonna head down to Elfland. Or no, we're not gonna head down to Elfland, I'm sorry. We're heading over to the Dwarf Cave to get the things that I said I was gonna get over at the Dwarf Cave, which is the money that I need, and then we'll head to Elfland after that. Alright, a couple of asps again. I guess we could fight them. Now, the thing with them is, like, when they attack, they have a percentage, probably 1 in 3 chance, or 2 in 3 chance of poisoning you with their attacks. So if they land an attack, they have a chance to actually poison you, which luckily they did not there. Yep, now I got poison. So now as you can see, he's in poison status. For every move I make on the world map, he'll lose 1 hit point, and throughout the battle, or at least at the end of every turn, he will lose hit points. As you can see, he lost 2 hit points there. Now what I can do is I can use the drink item here, or drink slot there, select Pure, and have him cure Puff of his poison issue before the battle's over. Now, it's not something that was necessary. I could have done it after the battle. It doesn't really matter. I was just showing you how the drink area works, or the drink option works. But that's it for poison. So basically, or for Pure, that's it. Now, I said I wouldn't fight the 1 ogre, or the 2 ogres earlier, but I can definitely fight 1 ogre. Now, I'm thinking I might have a better chance using fire against them than an actual physical attack, because the fire should do between 20 and 40 hit, or 10 and 40 hit points. Because he's not weak or resistant to fire. So as you can see, 26 damage is definitely better than, I think, the chance of him either missing or doing less than 26 damage. But again, you have to conserve your spell charges, so I'm only going to use it once in this battle, and then it should be good. 101 hit points down, so you can see 48 experience, but they give tons of gold. 195, and then we leveled up again. So again, one of the main reasons why I like this group or this particular setup so much is because you can really fight almost everything. You don't have to really run away from battles with this group. And you don't have to like plow through all your inventory. Because money, like I said before, is kind of important in this game. Right. So, next things are... I'll use a tent here. Basically just to make sure I regain some of my hit points that I lost earlier and to make up for the hit points I gained in my level up. Alright, so this can be a pretty tough battle. The creeps, like I said, they hit pretty hard. So what we're going to actually do is get rid of the creeps first. Because they're weaker than the... they have less hit points than the ogre. So to me, it's important to get rid of the creeps. Or to get rid of more of the monsters than less of the monsters, if that makes any sense. Hopefully Puff gets a good attack in and kills that creep. Great. So now we can focus our attack on this one. And these two guys can hopefully kill that guy. And this is essentially the strategy of the game. Knowing how many hit points certain enemies have, and then optimizing your attacks to where you can kill enemies and still do damage to other enemies. As you can see, did not work out so much with that creep that time. So what we'll do is we will focus our fighters on the ogre, and we'll have Sarge try to take down this last creep. The last thing you want to get is an ineffective, caption. You don't want to waste an attack, because your attacks are pretty important. And as you can see, I rolled a pretty low fucking number with that fire spell. I could have probably hit harder than that. Creeps are actually, I want to say they are weak to fire, so I could have used fire on the creeps to kill them a little quicker, but obviously that time has passed. Alright, Puff's getting pretty low on HP, but he should be okay. He should be fine. If we can actually hit this ogre and do some reasonable damage on it, then that would make a big difference. And there you go. 96 hit points, 240 gold. Of course, that's a good haul. I don't even think I mentioned how much gold I got while I was in the dwarf cave. Lots of gold. Over 1,000 gold, I want to say, is what you get there. So as you can see, we should have close to 2 grand in gold. That doesn't mean shit, as you will see once we get to the next part of the game. Or once we start buying all the heals we need to buy to move on to the marsh cave. So first thing I'm going to do, after I'm done doing this, after I go to Elfland and show you around Elfland, is we'll move on to the marsh cave. I'm going to make 2 trips to the marsh cave. I'm going to do some looting, get some treasure out of there, things to sell, things to equip, stuff like that. And then the second trip I'm going to make is going to actually be, oh, I forgot Sarge hadn't even leveled up to 4 yet. The next thing I will do after that, of course, is to go down there and actually kill the bad guy and get the crown that you need. Kill the wizards that are down there. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to see what we're looking at for everything. Alright, so I need a tent. I'm going to pick up a tent. So it should put me at 5 tents. I'm going to pick up 5 pures. And the one thing that I really don't like about this game is that you have to buy everything individually. So you count each one, and then I'm going to buy 17 heals, which is going to take fucking forever. You can't just put the number in. Of course, later iterations of Final Fantasy, all the re-releases, you could do that, but in the original game, you have to buy each heal individually. So I have to buy 17 heals, do this 17 times. So I want 20 heals, 5 pures, 5 tents. That should get me at least down into the marsh cave, get the items that I want to get, and then get the hell out of there. Let's see what we're looking at right now, because I was not paying attention to how many heals I bought. All right, so I need 2 more heals. All right, so we're good there. 5 pures, 20 heals, 5 tenths. That should be plenty to get us where we need to go. We'll save it one more time here. It's definitely cheaper to save at Corneria, than it is to save at Elfland. It's only 30 at Corneria, whereas it is 100 to save at Elfland. All right, so we got Sahagins. These are the less tough versions of the enemies we fought earlier, or the enemy I fought earlier, the red Sahagin. Or, as it just says, Sahag, because I think there's only like 6 characters. Alright, so Lightning, we should one-shot him. Because, like I said, normally the level 1 spells would do between 10 and 40 damage, regardless of intelligence, regardless of whatever. It's just a straight up dice roll, roll of the dice for the damage. So, hell, thought I saw something go across my floor. So yeah, straight up, no matter what your intelligence is or any of that stuff, it's just a straight up roll of the dice between 1 and 40. If something's weak against an elemental, like these Sahagins are weak against lightning, then it basically doubles that number, so it'll be between 20 and 80, I think. Pretty sure. And so it's just straight up again, the roll of the dice, but then they factor in, they just multiply it by 2, and that's how much damage you'll end up doing to the Sahagins. Alright, so battle was pretty okay. Alright, so here's Elfland, which, oh, fucking fuck. I was just gonna go in through the other entrance, on the other side of the place. Poisoned, of course. That means I totally wasted my time fighting this battle, because now I'm gonna have to use a pure, which, like I said, costs 75 gold, and I only got 50 gold for the battle, but at least I got 30, you know, fucking experience points, so whatever. Another thing that happens is when your character gets poisoned, they get moved to the back of the line, so you gotta move them back to whatever slot you want him to be in. Alright, so here's Elfland, and I just want to show you just how expensive everything is. Like, everything's 1,500 gold. Alright? So 1,500 gold, that's fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna eventually have to buy Lightning too, because that's a major deal, and fighting the wizards. And then, of course, these are your things here. I'm actually gonna buy the Iron Nunchucks, because they are an upgrade to the wooden nunchucks. Everything else I'm not going to bother buying. The saber's really not that much of an upgrade to the rapier, and I'll find a short sword in the next dungeon that I can equip. The silver sword's a major upgrade, but as you can see, it is 4 grand. It is very, very expensive. So, do that. Actually, I don't know why I exited out. I should have sold. I gave it to the wrong person. Sell. And that's another thing, sell your items, because you only have, your inventory is literally only 4 slots per character, and that is it. Once you run out of that, you cannot hold any more equipment. Again, another bullshit. What the fuck? I bought the wrong goddamn thing. Jesus Christ. Talk about wasting fucking money. Holy shit. Somebody was in chat, they could have been like, don't buy it! You're fucking up! Right, so Iron Nunchucks, blah blah blah, so forth and so on. Okay. Here is the armor shop, which, nothing special in here. Iron armor, we're actually going to find an iron armor soon, which is why I'm not going to buy it now, plus we obviously can't afford it. Copper armlet we're going to find later. That'll be, it's not really much, it's not an armor upgrade, it's basically the same for my black belt. And then iron shield, all this stuff is just not worth really picking up, because it's not enough of an armor upgrade to really waste the money on it. Plus, we'll find stuff for the fighters anyway. Done. Let's replenish my pure that I lost, and that is it. As you can see, here's the rest of your items. Should have showed you. Here you go, your cabin for $250, your house, which is an upgrade to the cabin for $3 grand, which I will never buy one of those, and then your soft potion, which cures stone status, but we won't run into anything that causes stone status for a little while. And then lastly, you can see level 4 magic spells, which cost 4,000 each. Fucking insane. The only one that's worth getting is Ice 2, but obviously I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to move on to the next part of the game, which is the Marsh Cave. Got 1 cabin, 5 tents, 5 pures, 20 hills. Perfect. So, heading to the Marsh Cave. Alright, Geists. These are also undead. I could use a fire charge against them, but again, I think I'm going to conserve my charges in case I need to use Cure or anything like that while I'm inside the Marsh Cave. Plus, it's only 1 Geist. He should go down pretty quickly. But the thing about these particular humanoid-looking undead creatures is they have a chance to paralyze your characters. Now, in a solo run, that's really bad. But in a full run like this, running up against one of them is not a big deal. Now, if I ran into a huge group of them, it could get pretty ugly pretty quick. Arachnids, these guys have a chance to poison you. As you can see, now I'm fucking poisoned, and I'm pissed off about it. I'm not going to cure him of his poison status because since he's still in the front slot, if I cure him, then he could get poisoned again, and that would be stupid. We may as well just leave him poisoned until the battle is over. Thank God we are wasting attacks by not hitting. Alright, terminated, but unfortunately now I'm about to waste 2 attacks, I think, right? And those are my 2 fighters. What are the odds? I know what they are, but I have to say it. Alright. Yeah, so, what do I talk about when I'm in a battle like this? Hopefully nobody else gets poisoned. Thank God no one else is getting poisoned. I'm actually I will say I'm pretty lucky as far as like the sheer amount of poisons that I've gotten. I mean, like, people haven't been poisoned that much. So pretty lucky. Alright. So, the battle's over. We're almost to the Marsh Cave, which is down here on the very south end of this peninsula. South west of this continent, I guess is what you would say. Grimps. They're just as worthless as their imp counterparts, except they have, I think, 18 hit points versus the measly 8 hit points that the regular imps have. Puff surprisingly got a pretty low roll on his attack when he attacked that Grimp. And Jay got a crit, which is always nice. Those are always good to see. Again, as far as criticals are concerned, I am not sure what the odds are or how the dice roll goes as far as hitting a critical. It's probably just like D&D, where it's probably like a 1 in 20 chance that you'll get a critical hit on something. One more Geist. Maybe he'll paralyze us so you can see what that's all about. Yep, that's what getting paralyzed looks like. So now it says stunned. He's basically, if he didn't get cured just then he wouldn't be able to go in this round of combat. And then he would have to roll to see if he would get unstunned, which, as you saw, Owen rolled to get unstunned and he was still paralyzed. So he would just keep missing rounds of combat until he was cured of paralysis. Alright, we'll use a tent to save the game, and then we will head to a couple of different areas of this. First off, we will go up here. Shadows are weird. They always strike first. I'm not sure why that's the case. They just do. And then they have pretty high evade, and they blind your characters. Luckily, blind status again, I think is bugged. I can't remember how many hit points these things have. I want to say we're just gonna everyone's gonna have to attack them. Yeah, I want to say they have pretty high hit points. All right, that's darkness there. Like I said, that's allegedly supposed to blind you, but I don't know if it actually works or not. Obviously he missed, but he could have just missed because he sucks. So we'll move on to the next ones, which it looks like Puff and Owen were able to kill one on their own. So we'll just keep it that way for now. They at least have 60 hit points based on the amount of damage he did. Alright, miss. 28. So we'll do this and this. And then we'll have these two attack this last guy. We're hoping for is a hit, which we did not get. Man, everyone missed. Every single person has missed so far, except for Puff. Good job, Puff. Alright, hopefully this will be the end of this battle. If we can get some attacks off. If people will just fucking hit their target. That's all we care about in the world, is them hitting their target. Mother fucks. And this should do it if Owen gets his attack off. There we go. About fucking time. 90 hit points, 180 whatevers. Let's see what we're looking at for health. Everyone's good. Again, to optimize everything in this game, since I know heals do 30 hit points, I usually wait until someone is down 30 hit points before I actually use a heal. Again, up against shadows, which they're really not much of a threat. They don't do much damage. They're just more of a hindrance and an annoyance than anything. 22. Owen's attack should kill him, hopefully. If he actually hits. Yes. Yes, everyone got a hit. That is crazy. I'll let Sarge take that one down by himself. Maybe. Fuck. Fuck. Go. Alright, so we're gonna have the two fighters take on those guys since they've already gotten about half their hit points taken away. And then we'll have Jay and Sarge take on the other one. Man, that guy cannot have very many hit points left. Motherfucks. Now, none of this really fucking matters, right? Like, what is even going on anymore? Trying to keep track of all this stuff. That is, yeah. I knew he was gonna get one shot if he could, or he would die if an attack would actually have landed. Fuck. Then at this point, I'm like, I don't even know how many hit points any of these fucking things have anymore. They should all die in one hit if we can actually get an attack off. Nope. I guess that one down there is just gonna live forever. Down in the third slot. There we go. Fucking A. And this should do it. This should do it. Yeah, all right. Oh, good lord. All right, so in this room over here, if I ever fucking make it there, ooh, zombie and ghouls. Ghouls, these guys here, can paralyze you, so they gotta die first. The zombies are actually the only humanoid undeads that cannot paralyze you. So that's why I'm going after the ghouls first. Get rid of them. Plus the zombies are the weaker of the two. which normally I would go after the weaker enemies first, but since the ghouls have a chance to paralyze you, as you can see, then I will attack them first. And zombies, they don't have much in the way of hit points, so this should be the end of this battle, hopefully, if he actually lands the hit. I think I have 20 hit points. So as you can see, I only did 19 hit points, but that killed him. And we're up to level 5. Excellent. One more level and I'll be able to use a level 3 charge of magic, which is really the only thing that's stopping me from going through the entire marsh cave. Because being able to do lightning 2, even only one time against the wizards, will make a huge difference as far as how easy the battle is. Alright, so gold, large knife, which we'll sell the large knife once we get out of here. Alright, these crawls are pretty dangerous as well. They can paralyze you, and they hit a lot, but they don't hit very hard. They just get a lot of hits in for like one hit point. So as you can see, six times hit. Now my 2 fighters are paralyzed, so this is about to get ugly quickly. I may just run away from this battle, because it's really not worth... Oh, no, Owen's back. Maybe I will fight this battle. Like I said, if a crawl lands an attack, it will paralyze somebody. Damn, a crit? Alright, I'm gonna have to use a cure spell charge from Jay this particular round of combat. Luckily Sarge is cured. Hopefully Puff will get cured. As you can see, that does like such a measly amount of fucking curative whatever. But it is going to stop him from dying. Hopefully we can kill this crawl. Owen, give it to me, bud. And Puff is just going to stay paralyzed this entire battle. He's going to be totally worthless this whole battle. Excuse me. Come on. Like I said, I'd rather that crawl just keep attacking the same paralyzed person. Yes, there we go. Finally. Now I can just kill these bones because they have like 9 hit points or something stupid. Alright, Puff is fucking back in action. As you can see, like with a lesser party, that battle right there could have been massive, like a majorly like dangerous. Alright, so let's go ahead and give Puff some energy. Good there, good there. Alright, cool. Everybody's good now. We're good. We're back in action. I got a little scary there for a second. Alright, now I am definitely running away from this battle for a few reasons. One, the green looking slime doodads called mucks, they are scums, I'm sorry. They actually are they have a very high, actually you know what, I am going to fight this battle, and there's a reason why. Well, the scums have very high physical absorb. I can actually kill them, hopefully with a fire charge, because I think they're weak to fire. So we'll see how this goes. We're going to attack the arachnid first, because he can poison your characters. And then we'll go after the muck next, since the mucks hit very hard. And then the spiders will kill last. That should kill... Yeah, okay, the scum is gone. I was right about them being weak to fire. Right, so let's go ahead and have them attack the muck while I have these guys finish off this arachnid. There we go. And the spiders do like fucking no damage at all. So the muck will go down next. Muck has normal properties, nothing, not very strong physical absorb like the scums do. Hold on, I've got to open the door for my dog before he pees in my house. Alright, cool. That's done. Muck is dead, as you can see. And hopefully, no, they didn't get an attack off, or didn't kill the spiders like I had hoped they would. And hopefully that will be the end of that spider. Alright, Sarge is finally up to level 5, that's great. And this will be some more gold, and this is going to be a short sword, which is a mild upgrade from the rapier. You can see we got 21 and 27 damage and hit percentage respectively. And now we have 27 and 32. So he should, now that he's at 32 hit percentage, he should actually be able to get 2 attacks off, which is pretty important. Short swords cost $550 and they are for sale at Provoca. I just didn't want to spend the money on it when I knew I would get one for free here. Alright, so I'm going to have you attack the one arachnid, have these 3 attack the other arachnid, and hopefully I'll be able to kill both of the arachnids. Man, those mucks hit hard. I just really don't want to get poisoned. That's what it kind of boils out to. Arachnids have quite a few hit points, if I remember correctly. Which I clearly don't remember. 2 hits, there you go. 49 hit points. Damn, alright. Alright, we're gonna have to, hopefully... Alright, I'm gonna actually use, I hate using heals in battle, but I'm not gonna have a choice. I'm gonna have both of them heal up Puff, only to make sure, since he's hitting around the 30 hit point mark, I don't want him to end up getting killed while we're in here. As you can see, it doesn't do exactly 30 hit points like it does when you're on the world map, or while you're in the out of battle. It does usually sometimes less. But everything else is good. Alright, and then we'll head to the, actually we'll head out of here to save the game. Alright, so I'm going to run from this battle. A, these things can poison you, and B, I do not have enough fire charges to actually kill them all. Plus, I don't want to use all my level 1 charges anyway. Alright, so that battle cost me $150 150 gold. Alright, so we'll hop out of here, we'll save the game real quick, and then we'll head back in and go to the lower dungeon where I can get more items and armor and stuff. Hopefully get up to level 6 by then. And then we can move on to, we can go back to Elfland, sell off any items that we don't need, buy Lightning 2, and then head back down here and finally kill the wizards off so we can get the crown and continue on with our fetch quest. Basically, we come down here, we get the crown, we take the crown to Astos, who lives in the northwest castle. We fight him. He gives us the crystal. We take the crystal to Matoya. Matoya gives us the herb, which we take back to Elfland to give to the prince, and the prince wakes up and gives us a key. The key helps us open up treasure chests that we couldn't normally open up otherwise, and then we, after that, get an item called TNT, take it to the dwarves, and we can blow a canal up and get the hell out of this little area that we're in and move on to the main quest of the game, which is actually restoring those 4 orbs that I showed you earlier when we first started this particular stream. Alright, I've been streaming for about an hour. I don't think I'll get to the wizards before the end of the stream, mainly because I know my wife will be home from work here pretty soon, and we have plans later. So I'm just doing this right now while my son sleeps and before Lauren gets home from work. But now that I've got Twitch kind of figured out, I will more than likely stream more and more. On Lauren's off, when Lauren's at work, and on my off days when Owen's asleep during his nap. Alright, so these rooms don't have anything. Now granted, that room that I'm passing right now does have a treasure chest, and if I had not gone to the other room, that treasure chest I think would have the short sword in it. But since I needed to go there to get the long, all the money and stuff anyway, I just went on ahead and got the short sword while I was there. And now that treasure chest will be empty. Now in this treasure chest here, we'll have an iron armor, which is a massive upgrade to the armor that I currently am wearing. Now these scorpions are bad news. As you can see, they are hitting very, very hard. Now I could probably take them on if I hadn't gotten attacked first. But since I did get attacked first, I'm going to go on ahead and try to run away before I am dead, which is what happened. Bullshit. This is Final Fantasy right here. This is the cheapness that is this game at times. And now I can't run away because my lead guy is dead and my second guy is poisoned. So everything's all fucked up and it's not going to let me run. And now another character's fucking dead. Isn't this fucking amazing? And Owen will more than likely be dead as well here in this attack. And now it's just down to Jay. What the fuck kind of fucking bullshit is this? And I will say I'm a little surprised that I got a party wipe, but that's what fucking happens in Final Fantasy. Sometimes you get into cheap random encounters and the luck of the draw is just not with you. So, since I said I was going to end my stream either when my wife got home, or when my wife got home, but since I have a party wipe, I'm going to go on ahead and end my stream here, and starting tomorrow, we will come back down here, or not tomorrow, but the next day, or maybe later on tonight, we will head back down into here and get those items I was trying to get before I ran into this stupid random encounter. Anyway, thank you for watching, all of you that watched, and I will see you guys probably Wednesday at noon, or maybe another time. Goodbye.